Hey guys, it's Issa, and welcome back to my channel. It's Issa and welcome back to my channel. Welcome back if you are returning. Make sure you go ahead and subscribe to this channel before we even get started. And if you are already subscribed, make sure that you click that notification bell so that you get notified every time that I post a video, because I do post sporadically, so you want to make sure that you don't miss the video when I post. So today we actually have a video that a subscriber actually recommended that I make. So I'm going to go ahead and read what the subscriber said, and then we're just going to go ahead and talk about this topic. I love your channel. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. Can you make a video on how to stop seeking validation from men? I struggle with it. And another one on self-love. God bless. Thank you for watching. So these are two very different topics, but I'm going to try to kind of conjoin them together for the sake of this video, because I feel like they kind of go hand in hand, but at the same time they're kind of separate. So it's a little bit tricky to kind of talk about this video, because I've been thinking about this video in my head all morning, kind of like, what would I say about this situation? How to stop seeking validation from men. That's a very difficult thing to talk about, because there could be so many scenarios as to why you're seeking validation from men. First of all, I want to start off by saying that there are a lot of females in this world, particularly feminists, not all feminists, but some feminists, a lot of feminists, that will say, oh, I don't need no validation from a man. Okay, I don't believe that that is per se to be true. You know, I feel like the real question that you would have to ask is how to build a healthy relationship with a man. I think that's the real question that you need to be asking, not how to seek validation from a man. Now, if you're constantly seeking validation from a man, that means that this may not apply to everybody, but for a lot of people, this would mean that you were not particularly validated by people that should have validated you from when you were young, from a parent or a grandparent, or you probably have this issue. I feel like a lot of people who grow up not getting the validation that they need from young, it messes them up as they get older, and then when they get older, they tend to blame the other gender for not validating them. And this tends to happen a lot. I'm not saying that this is a particular subscriber that is doing this, but this tends to happen a lot. You know, for example, for someone who doesn't have their father in their life, or for someone who has their father coming in and out of their life sporadically, or for someone who has their father in their life but it kind of feels like their father is not in their life, they would have an issue to where it would be like, oh, I have to seek the validation from my father in a man, and I'm going to keep doing that until I find the man that validates me, or men are going to keep screwing me over until, you know, whatever the case may be, you know. And I feel like sometimes it correlates together, you know, but I would recommend for you to seek therapy. Like, it's okay to seek therapy. I would like to go to therapy myself. Like, I feel like I could use therapy, but I feel like there is always a deeper issue. If you don't have a healthy relationship with yourself, then you cannot have a healthy relationship with nobody else. And I think that's something I had to learn too. Like, I kept asking myself, like, yo, why these people keep walking in and out of my life? Why do people keep treating me a certain kind of way? Why do people keep doing me wrong? Well, the reason that people keep doing you wrong and people keep treating you the same way every single time, or people keep having attitudes with you, or, you know, that type of thing, is because you are allowing it. Don't allow something that you know is going to screw you over in the long run, you know. And I think that, you know, it's important to have a healthy relationship with yourself. That's the most important part. People think that when it comes to relationships that you have to complete the other person. When your job in a relationship is not to complete the other person, both of y'all need to be complete before y'all can come together, if that makes sense. Because let's say you 100 and this person is 50. You're going to be giving 50% into that relationship that that person doesn't have, and you're 100. So y'all basically like this, and you're going to keep giving and giving and giving until the point that you here and you can't stay up here no more, because you got to keep giving here, and you're giving yourself and you're going lower and lower and lower and lower until both of y'all here, and you probably end up being all the way down here. Like, I don't even know if that made sense at all whatsoever, but what I'm trying to say is that you give so much of yourself that you end up in a place where you end up in a place where you've given so much of yourself that you don't have any more of you left. You know what I'm saying? And then you end up broken. And you don't want to end up broken because you gave so much of yourself to somebody else, you know. And that's another thing. There's nothing wrong with giving to another person as long as that person is reciprocating the same thing or reciprocating the same energy, you know. But back to the validation thing. I think it's important for you to love yourself. You know, it's important to love yourself, and loving yourself can be a hard thing because sometimes loving yourself requires digging down deep into places that you don't want to dig down into. And sometimes you have to look at yourself and ask yourself things that you don't want to ask yourself. You have to confront things about yourself that you don't want to confront. And that's a hard thing to do, to sit there and be like, okay, yo, why am I seeking validation from men? Like, why? What happened to me that I have to keep seeking this validation? Like, you know, why don't I love myself? What could be the deep-rooted issue there? And I feel like a lot of the times we don't want to look within ourselves to see what's wrong with us. We always want to say, well, we always want to look at the bigger picture and point out everything else that, you know, could possibly be an issue except for us and why we do what we do. How can you love yourself? Well, loving yourself is not easy, despite what people may say. They'll be like, oh, I'm conceited and da-da-da-da. I feel like people who are like conceited and all of that type of stuff and have a extremely like over-the-top self-esteem of being like, I'm better than someone else and that type of thing. I feel like part of that is a cover-up, you know, because sometimes what people see on the outside may not be what the person is feeling on the inside, if that makes sense, you know. And even with being like overly expressive on how you feel in certain type of ways, or feeling like you're superior to someone else in your mind, sometimes you have to be that way in order to survive, if that makes sense. Let's say you grow up a certain way and you have to act a certain way in order to survive, in order to, you know, be accommodated in the place that you're living in, and then you move somewhere else and people are questioning, well, why do you act that way? You know, you don't have to act that way anymore. You don't have to do this anymore. But you're so stuck in the mindset of having to act a certain way because of the way you were brought up to act, you know. So that could be another part of, like, you know, having to do things a certain way. But yeah, loving yourself is not an easy task, you know, but one way that you can start off by loving yourself is following your passion. Like, a lot of people ignore their passion. A lot of people ignore their gifts that they have in life. I feel like that's one way to start, you know, kind of looking into yourself, understanding yourself. And I feel like people should really learn who they are, because a lot of people don't know themselves and don't get to know themselves because they're too busy trying to get to know someone else. And I feel like part of the reason that people don't want to get to know themselves is because they are afraid of getting to know they're afraid of digging too deep into themselves, to the fact that they might find something that they don't like, or something that they may like, or, you know, it's kind of scary sometimes to look all the way in yourself, because when you start digging and when you start self-evaluating, when you start looking into all that, there are going to be things that you're not going to like, and you're just going to be like, ooh, I don't want to deal with that, you know what I'm saying? But you definitely should dig. You should dig and you should find, because if you don't like it, you should fix it, you know. But yeah, like I said, look into your passions as well. And a lot of people ignore their passion in life because they feel like, you know, oh, I don't have time for that, or, you know, I can't really do this right now. But the thing is that, you know, when there's a will, there's a way, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want to blame someone else as well for, and I know I keep talking a lot about blame, but I feel like this correlates with all of this, because like people can see low self-esteem, you know, people can see it. Whether you think they can see it or not, they can see it. It's noticeable. They can see when you're self-conscious, even if you don't bring it up, because somehow people can read it, you know. Maybe not all people, but some people. And I feel like some men, not all, you know, they can see that. They can see that you're looking for that validation in them. And what they're going to do is, some malicious men, not all, they're going to prey on it. They're going to be like, okay, well, I know that she's looking for my validation. I know that she wants me to tell her that she's beautiful, so I'm gonna tell her that she's beautiful because I know that's what she wants to hear, you know. And some men, that turns them off, and they're just like, that's kind of gross that, you know, that person has low self-esteem. But it's really, really complicated, you know. But I would definitely recommend, you know, you digging into why you feel like you have to have validation from men, you know. And then the other thing is also, I feel that if you have a problem with validation from men, to take a break from relationships, period, to kind of get to know yourself, because I feel like you're kind of seeking something when you're looking for validation from men. You're looking, and you're trying to find out, you're looking for something. And a lot of the times, people don't know what they're looking for, you know, when they look for it in other people. And that's why it goes back to, for me, the parenting situation. And it's not always the parent's fault, but for me personally, the way I see it, it could be that, you know, like I feel like it's the parent's responsibility to start from young to kind of teach you to love yourself and to tell you that you're beautiful, or to tell you that you're a great person. Like, for example, when I have my little cousins, or when I have my, you know, when I have my nieces and nephews in the future, I would definitely go and tell them, listen, you're beautiful, you can be anything you want. That's very important to tell children that, because when they grow up older, they're going to start looking for someone else to tell them that. As they get older, believe it or not, they are going to look for it in someone else. And that may not always be the case, but I personally feel like people will start looking for that in other people. So sometimes with men, you know, you want that man to tell you, oh, you're beautiful, oh, babe, hey, you should do this, babe, you should do that, I really feel like you're talented in this, I really feel like you're talented in that, you know. And you keep looking for a man to tell you to do something, when you should be able to self-motivate and tell yourself that you can do it, you know. And it's a little bit of a complicated thing, but, you know, I don't know if I really answered this question really correctly, but I tried to the best of my ability, you know, because when I was younger, like, I used to get really upset, you know, because, you know, I'm like, oh, how come, you know, guys never really want to date me because I think I'm not good enough, or, you know, I don't know why guys don't think that I'm cute or whatever, and I was never the pretty girl in the class, or, you know, those type of things. But when you start to get older, you start to realize that a lot of the times it's not you, baby, it's them, and it's okay, you know what I'm saying? Move right along, because there's always somebody better too. But that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day. All right, so I hope I was able to kind of break it down a little bit in this video. If not, I'm sorry, but I tried to the best of my ability to be able to dissect this question a little bit. this video may have been all over the place because, you know, I didn't really write stuff down or, you know, try to, I don't know. I don't know what the hell. I should have wrote stuff down to make it a little bit more clearly, but I hope that I was able to help. So if you guys have any questions or want to send me any questions, you can go ahead and put them down in the comments down below, or you can DM me, you can write me on Snapchat, or whatever the case may be, and I will answer your question to the best of my ability. Thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, and share, and I will see you guys in the next video. Click that notification bell down below. I love you guys so much, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.